Yeah.
Hello, my name is Shahryar, and today I'm going to be talking about the accidental billionaire, Mark Zuckerberg. Now, let's talk about what happened in his life. First off, he was a Harvard student with really good computer skills. He was a professional computer programmer. And one day, a man named Eduardo saw him and realized that he was a really good computer programmer because of the rumors he heard in class and outside of class. And so they began talking, and then they became really good friends. But one day, a bully named Cameron forced Mark to make a website for him called Face Match, which determined girls' attractiveness. And Mark did it. He created this website, and it found its way back to Eduardo. And he realized that since Mark is such a good computer programmer, that he could make this website, that the two should work together to create their own website. At first, Mark was hesitant because Cameron would figure out, and there would be a lot of financial problems. But Eduardo, who decided to fix both of them, he said he'll handle with Cameron when it comes around, and he'll fund the entire website. And so they're off. They're creating this website, and it became really successful. At first, it became really popular in Harvard. Then it went to other Ivy League schools. Then it just became this public thing. Almost everyone in the world had a Facebook page, and it was close to 500 million people on the website. But one day it became so popular that Cameron found out and wanted to sue it for having too many similarities to Face Mash, because the website they were working on was called The Facebook. But the lawsuit didn't turn out very well. Cameron lost, and Eduardo and Mark still continued expanding Facebook. But eventually they had to split up. Mark was going to the Silicon Valley to improve his computer programming skills, and Eduardo was going overseas to grow, have his relationship with his family grow. And so they went. But Eduardo gave Mark some money for him to live comfortably in Silicon Valley, since he was having troubles with money. But there was a huge problem. Mark was mainly the programmer. He wasn't a business deal type of person. Eduardo was mainly responsible for that. But Mark decided to still make business deals behind his back. And Eduardo was extremely mad, so he decided to cut out all money towards Mark and leaving Mark completely broke. But he made some really good business deals and a lot of good choices to where he could still fund Facebook and at the same time have him live comfortably in Silicon Valley. And eventually, when they met up, Mark decided that Eduardo would be completely cut from the company and not have any of the profits, leaving Mark to be the CEO of the Facebook, which he eventually renamed to just Facebook. Now, what can we learn from Mark? Well, I feel like he's one of the most important people who are alive today. He's one of the youngest billionaires with $64 billion and only 33 years old. And I find that so cool because after all this hardship, the betrayal of his best friend, the bullying, the financial problems, he was able to power through all of that and create one of the biggest social media platforms ever. It absolutely destroyed MySpace in 2008. And now some people use it as their form of news, because some people just use it as news nowadays because of how many people are on it and how many people talk about current events on the website. Also, he pretty much taught us that you can't exactly trust everyone no matter how long you knew them, because if someone were to come up to you and say, hey, let's be friends, by all means do it. It's probably going to be a relatively healthy relationship. But the thing is, Eduardo knew Mark for a year, and Eduardo still stabbed Mark in the back for doing something like that. And I find that very disrespectful on Eduardo's end. And when it comes to my own personal opinion about the book, I really like the book. I mean, I already had a lot of respect for Mark for making such a phenomenon, but the creation was so interesting to see in the book, how determined he was and how he just spent so many sleepless nights working on what could be just a technical flop, but it wasn't a flop. Over 2 billion people have a Facebook page of some way. That's a quarter of the population. And I feel like what he did was just unfathomable. But when it comes to the book, there is a problem. The problem is, it's mainly focused on Mark. Everything is from Mark's point of view, which I understand. It's his biography. But sometimes characters do things where, like, if we saw things from their point of view, it would actually make sense. But if it's just from Mark's point of view, they just look like bad people doing bad things. And that just doesn't make sense. But overall, I enjoyed the book, and I actually recommend that you go read the book as well. Thanks.